Your electrical panel board is the brain of your house's power system. It receives power from the utility and distributes it to all the different rooms and circuits in your house. And yet it is one of the most often misunderstood and often neglected parts of home construction. Most homeowners only think about it when the power goes out during a brownout, or when the circuit breaker trips and they have to go to the panel to reset it. But behind those switches is an entire logic that protects your appliances, prevents fires, and controls the energy flow to all the things that we use in our homes. So let's demystify this very important part of our homes today and talk about 3 simple things that every homeowner needs to know about the electrical panel board. First up, we have the main breaker. It's like the quarterback of the team. It controls the entire house and can shut down power to the whole house if needed during maintenance or emergencies. You know when the power company is scheduled to come and work on the lines outside your house? Your electrician will turn off the main breaker to make sure no one gets shocked while they're working. Similarly, if there's a fire or an electrical fault somewhere in your house, the main breaker will hopefully trip and shut off the power to prevent further damage or injury. Now, this main breaker has a specific size that is determined by the total load computation of your house. In simpler terms, it's based on the sum total of all the appliances, lighting, and outlets in your house, and any future expansion plans you might have. You know how sometimes you go to flip a switch and the breaker trips, and you have to go to the panel to reset it before you can continue using the appliance? That happens because the breaker is oversized. It controls more electricity than the wiring can handle safely. If it's undersized, it will trip frequently even when you're using just 1 or 2 appliances at the same time. That's because the breaker is too sensitive and is tripping unnecessarily. That's why sizing the main breaker correctly is so important. If it's too small, it will trip too easily and often, making it hard to use the appliances. If it's too big, it won't protect the wiring from overloads or short circuits, increasing the risk of fire. The best way to avoid these problems is to hire a qualified electrician who can calculate the total load of your house and then determine the correct size of the main breaker needed. Next, we have the branch circuits. These are the individual lines that serve your lights, outlets, aircon, water heater, pump, and other loads. A smart home doesn't just cram everything on one breaker, it distributes loads evenly. For example, a dedicated breaker for the kitchen outlets, another for the AC, another for lights. This avoids nuisance tripping, which can happen when you plug too many things into one outlet or turn on too many lights at once. It also localizes the problem if there is a fault. If one breaker trips, you know that there is a problem with that particular circuit. For example, if the water heater breaker trips, you know to check the water heater. If the kitchen outlet breaker trips, you know to check the kitchen outlets. This makes troubleshooting much easier. Finally, let's talk about labeling. An unlabeled panel board during an emergency is a nightmare. How do you shut off the water heater if you don't know which breaker it is? All breakers should be clearly labeled based on their circuit. So if the water heater breaker is labeled water heater, you will know exactly where to find it and shut it off quickly and safely. Similarly, if there is a problem with the kitchen outlets, you will know to look at the breaker labeled kitchen outlets and not waste time checking each one individually. This is especially important in a smart home where there are many circuits and devices connected to the panel. Using labels or a legend that correlates the breaker to its circuit makes it easy to find the problem and fix it quickly. It also helps prevent accidents by making sure that people know which circuits are live and which ones are not. So the next time your electrician is working on your panel board, don't treat it as an afterthought. It's not just about switches. It's about safety, efficiency, and future-proofing your home. Build it right, label it well, and it might just save your house one day. That's all for now. See you next time.